I don't know, man. Like I just hit buttons and then things happen, and then I wait to see what happened.
Well, I mean, it says we're live. I don't know if we
Oh,
actually
cool.
are. It
Yeah,
it's the
I don't know.
blind leading the blind in this case.
Yeah, it's the stupid leading the blind is what's happening. I'm just an idiot. It's
Hey,
I'm just like I don't know.
let's
I have
say
no
which is
fucking clue
which
what I'm doing.
here.
Yeah. All right. Well, so hello everybody. I'm obviously not Jason, and so if you're expecting Jason, I have bad news for you. You got me instead. But Jason is down with food poisoning, and so I am, for better or worse, taking the reins this evening. I didn't post it on our Facebook or anything else, so I bet most people are gonna miss it because they don't know how to find it, which is cool. But hey, maybe Jason will do that, and because I know he was gonna watch the train wreck happen, but and it is gonna be a
We're
train wreck.
yes, we're gonna make Palestine, Ohio look like it was nothing.
Oh yeah, it's well, and this welcome to another train wreck of an episode of Anarchy Among Friends roundtable discussion. This is episode number 213. Andrew has been left unsupervised again. So this is what happens when I'm left unsupervised. It's just a terrible thing. By the way, we are covered by the BIPCOT, no government license, which allows for the use and reuse of this podcast by any. Yep, you know the thing.
Yep.
You know the thing.
BIPCOT, no government license, allows for the use and reuse of this show, except by government and the bludgies thereof.
Yeah. If you want to learn more about that, it's bipcot.org, bipcot.org. We're also covered by Brandenburg v. Ohio, which protects free speech unless such speech is directed to inciting imminent lawless action is likely to incite such action. As such, everything that you're about to hear is completely hypothetical and in no way representative of an actual call to action for pure entertainment purposes, and if you take anything we say as a recommendation, you're probably not bright. So...
And if at any point it seems like we are making any kind of legal advice, no, we're not. And if you take legal advice from us, that's stealing.
Hashtag not legal advice.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Jack, shut up.
So, this is... Hey, you guys. Also, oh God, with the kitty thing. Freaking Maddie laughed about it, too. She still hasn't given me cat ears to wear on here. Eventually, she's got to give me some cat ears.
You're going to have to buy your own, I think.
I think at this point, I'm going to have to get my own. And then I seriously, like, I'm going to get cat ears for everybody on the show, and we're going to do an entire episode in, like, kawaii fucking gear, and we're not going to acknowledge it the entire show. So.
If we were going to do that, this would have been the show to do it, because it's just you and I.
Yeah, probably. How much this show's going to be an Andrew rant, We'll see.
We can't make any promises.
See. It might be, well, it probably won't be the entire show, but it might be a large amount of the show.
Oh, especially with looking at the article list, there's going to be some Professor Andrew tangents.
Oh yeah, there definitely is, and I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. It's gonna be fun.
That's because you are, in fact, Professor Andrew, or sorry, Professor Cat Drew.
Cat Drew, oh, God. Meow meow, rant meow meow.
I would laugh if Lindsay popped in there right now with a string and just threw it over your shoulder. Here, kitty.
Shining a laser, and I'm like, ooh.
That'll be. I mean, when we were talking about just being you and I did suggest that she should stand opposite you in the room, and that way, if you get too far off the rails, boom, titties.
Yeah, I mean, but the problem is that really won't distract me enough, to be honest. If I'm on the right tangent, nah, we going down this rabbit trail. Buckle up. Oh, this is my first like regular episode that I am in charge of. because we've done one special
probably
episode.
The last.
Yeah, and it'll probably be the last. Let's be honest. Well, this job's done. But yeah, I mean, we did one special episode like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years. It was God, what was that one?
Actually, I think it was even longer ago than that, because that was our special episode on ironically on pistol braces and SBRs.
Oh no, that was on Anarchist Weapons Wednesday.
Was it on Weapons Wednesday?
Yeah,
so I've never run one of these. Hey,
you have, because you and I did one. Jab mandates. You and I did one. The two of us on the jab mandates.
Okay, so I've done one special episode. I've never done a regular episode. So this is just gonna be an absolute shit show.
Buckle the
which
fuck
is par
up.
for the course. It's par for the course for us.
It can only go up from our normal bar. So I mean,
I think you will be surprised. Ever the optimist. Oh man. Do you want to get into an article? Because I got a few, and I do have a surprise article.
Oh Lord,
that is just
sure to piss me
fantastic.
off?
No, I don't think it'll piss you. Well, I don't know. We'll find out. Where should we start? I think we just start at the top of the list, because this one is why I'm wearing my no quarter patch right now.
Do we really want to go straight into what probably would take up half the show?
I mean, we don't have to. What do you want to start with, the First Amendment one?
Yeah, let's start there, because that'll lead us into the other one.
Okay, well, we'll start with the First Amendment one. It's a Reason.com article. All of the articles, as always, are in fact linked. Yes, go to the article now, please. Thank you. All of the articles are linked in the description, along with all of the stuff they'll talk about at the end for all the sponsorships and everything else and all that good stuff. But Federal Appeals Court upholds First Amendment right to warn drivers of police. Michael Friend was arrested in 2018 for holding a sign that read "Cops Ahead" near a police checkpoint. That arrest violated his First and Fourth Amendment rights, a federal appeals court has ruled.
So we actually just had a discussion about this in the lacrosse stupid drivers group on Facebook, where a guy said that by doing so you're interfering with police action.
Nope.
And it's like, no, you can flash your brights at somebody to warn them there's a cop up ahead. You can stand out on the side of the road with a sign. In fact, I remember a story, was it 3 or 4 years ago, where there was some kids standing out there with signs, police trap or speed trap ahead. And then on the other end, they had another kid with a sign that said tips in a jar.
Yes, it says a federal appeals court ruled that a Connecticut man's First Amendment rights were violated when police arrested him for holding a sign warning drivers of police activity ahead. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit reversed a lower court decision and held that a police officer in Stamford, Connecticut, violated Michael Friend's First Amendment rights and had no probable cause to arrest him for standing on a public sidewalk holding a sign that read "Cops Ahead." Friend was standing on a sidewalk near a Stamford police checkpoint on April 12, 2018, holding a "Cops Ahead" sign when Sergeant Richard Gasparino approached Friend, took his sign, and threatened to arrest him. Friend instead made a larger sign and moved to a different spot. Gasparino,
hell.
yeah. Gasparino then handcuffed and arrested Friend, who was charged with misdemeanor interference and held on a $25,000 bail. 25 grand.
G's? Holy shit. That's more than you paid for your car.
Yeah. Prosecutors later dropped the charge. Friend, represented by the Connecticut chapter of the American Civil Liberties Union, on a rare occasion actually doing something for civil liberties, filed a civil rights lawsuit arguing the Gasparino seizure of his signs and his arrest violated Friend's First and Fourth Amendment rights. A U.S. District Court dismissed Friend's suit in 2020, finding that Friend's sign, quote, did not discuss a topic or express his opinion on it, end quote. That Gasparino had a compelling government interest in stopping Friend from spoiling the police sting, and that Gasparino had probable cause to arrest Friend for returning after he told him not to. The Second Circuit ruled that the district court erred in all three of those findings. citing
What a shock.
Yeah. Citing the 1987 Supreme Court ruling in Houston v. Hill, quote, the freedom of individuals verbally to oppose or challenge police action without thereby risking arrest is one of the principal characteristics by which we distinguish a free nation from an abject police state. The case will now return to the district court to consider whether Gasparino is entitled to qualified immunity from Friend's claims, because of course it is.
And you and I both know we can revisit this in probably 8 months and we'll find out that the piece of shit cop gets qualified immunity, and then the taxpayers, the people, this is in Connecticut, will end up having to, pay for it all.
Oh yeah, and we know that's like we definitely
that's exactly
know that's
what's going to happen, because there's no jurisprudence right now that says that this is already on the books. This exact instance is already on the books. So Gasparino is gonna get off scot-free.
Yeah. And yes, Jason, I did the Bipcot.
He fumble fucked through it, but yes, he did the Bipcot.
Not well, but I got it out there. It says in a press release, Ilana Bildner, senior staff attorney for the ACLU Foundation of Connecticut and an attorney on the case, called the Second Circuit ruling, quote, a solid affirmation of the fact that people have the right to protest police. When Michael Friend held up a sign on a Stamford sidewalk to alert people to police activity, he was well within his First Amendment rights, and Stamford police never should have arrested him. This decision is good news for protesters' rights and should serve as a reminder to all police in Connecticut that they cannot and should not silence speech like Mr. Friend's. This is not the only sign-related First Amendment case that Stamford has generated.
Good God.
In 2018, one of Friend's friends, it's a friend of friend. Anyway, Michael Picard.
Oh, God.
Make it show. Was arrested by Stamford police for holding a sign outside of the police station that reads, fuck free speech, in quotes, dash Stamford PD.
I like these guys. I like them both. They're both fantastic.
Yeah, that is a Chad move. That is a Chad move to stand out there holding a sign that says that the police hate free speech and then get arrested by the police, thereby violating your right to free speech.
Right?
That's just winning all over the place.
It is. It's like, you guys are experts at censorship. Oh, you're going to censor my point of explaining that you are experts at censorship.
Yeah, and it's the article concludes by mentioning that the Supreme Court has ruled repeatedly that warning drivers of upcoming police by flashing one's headlights is a form of free expression protected by the First Amendment. Holding up signs is protected by the First Amendment. All of those things, right? Like, police do not get to set up speed traps in the United States and then arrest you for pointing out that they're there.
Right. In fact,
they just don't.
At one point, there was a case, I think it was here in Wisconsin, because there used to be a law on the books that said that law enforcement, if they're in the commission of traffic duties, had to, their vehicle had to be clearly marked. And then that got challenged, and a overwhelming conservative Supreme Court in Wisconsin said, oh, no, that's not a thing.
Yeah, that's why there's the black on black car, cop car in La Crosse now.
There's one in Sparta too. It's black, and then it has Sparta Police written on the side, but it's black metallic fleck paint.
Yep. So it only shows up in your headlights.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be fun fact in Europe. That would be completely illegal.
Yes.
In Europe, across all of the EU, all emergency vehicles must be clearly visibly marked so that people who need help can find them.
Get it. Yep.
Which shows you the difference in mentality between even incredibly unfree Europe and the land of the free.
Yep.
Right there.
Well, it goes back to the old saying that the police love to throw in the people's faces. If you've got nothing to hide.
Yeah. If you got nothing to hide, why are you trying to hide?
Right.
Yeah, this is one of those things, right, where police, in commission of their alleged duties, have no right to privacy. They have no right, no expectation of a right to do that without people talking about it, pointing it out, showing it to the world, everything else. Mm-hmm. The Supreme Court has ruled that repeatedly, and in a free society, well, free-ish society, that makes perfect sense, right? They're supposed to be public servants, and therefore they're supposed to be accountable to the public. That makes perfect sense. But police, time and time again, do not want anyone talking about what they're doing.
Right. Well, it's not just police. You can talk about police at the local level or even the state level, but you talk about anything federal too. Anything federal. It could be the IRS guy that's coming to your house to audit you. If you try to record him even on your own property, they're going to try to stop you from doing that because they know that what they're doing is inherently wrong, but they're going to do it anyway because they got to have that paycheck. Fucking welfare queens.
So what you're saying is that government agents generally, when they're trying to hide what they're doing, it's because they're doing things they should not be doing.
Yes.
And you know what's funny about that is the Supreme Court said that domestic spying is too secret to be challenged in court.
Yep. That's called a segue.
Yes, a segue, if you will. Abusive government behavior has again been found to be too sensitive to national security to face legal challenges in the court system. Last week, U.S. Supreme Court declined to review a lower court's dismissal of the Wikimedia Foundation's lawsuit against a national security agency surveillance program revealed a decade ago by Edward Snowden. With, quote, state secrets privilege, end quote, barring litigation, that leaves upcoming congressional debates over the renewal of the law authorizing the program as the only recourse for civil liberties advocates. But wait, there is another. We don't talk about that one.
We don't talk about that one. But
y'all ain't ready for that conversation yet.
I can allude to it here. Has nothing to do with the tropical fish.
I said, y'all ain't ready for that conversation yet. Wikimedia announced on the 21st of February, the U.S. Supreme Court today denied the Wikimedia Foundation's petition for review of its legal challenge to the National Security Agency's upstream surveillance program. Under this program, the NSA systematically searches the contents of internet traffic entering and leaving the U.S., including Americans' private emails, messages, and web communications. The Supreme Court's denial leaves in place a divided ruling from the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit, which dismissed Wikimedia's case based on the government's assertion of the state secrets privilege. This decision is a blow to the rule of law, commented Alex Abdo of the Knight First Amendment Institute at Columbia University, which worked with Wikimedia and the ACLU. The government has now succeeded in insulating from public judicial review one of the most sweeping surveillance programs ever enacted. If the courts are unwilling to hear Wikimedia's challenge, then Congress must step in to protect Americans' privacy by reining in the NSA's mass surveillance of the internet. As if they ever would.
No, they wouldn't.
Like,
they have a vested interest in keeping all of it going.
Exactly. Why would Congress want to curb any government activities?
Right.
They don't want to curb those.
No, it doesn't matter which party, which side of the uniparty is currently controlling it either. Because you got to remember, it was the Republicans who instituted the Patriot Act, which made programs like this possible. And they have both parties have repeatedly voted to keep it going, because why would they ever relinquish any power?
Well, yeah, remember that
government only exists to serve itself.
Well, the government that was in control when the Patriot Act first got passed was decidedly Republican. It was a Republican supermajority that put the Patriot Act in place.
Yep.
Well, that's what supermajority is. They had everything.
Well, there's a majority, which, like in the Senate, is better than 50, and then there's a supermajority, which is 60 or better.
Right, but I'm saying they had a supermajority across all branches of government. They controlled the executive, they controlled legislative, they controlled the courts. And that is the environment in 2001 that pushes the Patriot Act. And why did they push the Patriot Act? Oh, 9/11. So.
Gosh.
Almost. It's almost like.
We kind of fell down that rabbit hole like Tower 7, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jason's right. Jason's spot on with that one, too. Don't forget that in the middle of a drought in Utah, in the western U.S., the government used the water to cool the NSA servers rather than pretty farmers and ranchers to grow their food.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's I mean, the United States government is never going to curb any of its surveillance programs, right? Like it's remember that this surveillance program upstream, right? So it says upstream surveillance program at issue collects communications to, from, or about a foreign target designated under Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, according to the NSA. In the clear language of the Electronic Frontier Foundation, quote, upstream surveillance involves collecting communications as they travel over the internet backbone, and downstream surveillance, formerly the PRISM program, involves collection of communications from companies like Google, Facebook, and Yahoo. As Edward Snowden revealed and the NSA conceded, this broad surveillance may be authorized against foreign targets, but frequently scoops up Americans, often deliberately scoops up Americans. The government is increasingly using these broad and intrusive spying powers in run-of-the-mill criminal investigations against Americans, circumventing their Fourth Amendment rights, the ACLU warned in 2020. So, which is what we all knew, right? Like anybody with a brain looked at that program when it first rolled out, and we found out about it thanks to Snowden, and went, hey, this is just grabbing everything. This is literally invading everyone's privacy all the time, and you guys are acting like that's a completely normal thing.
I mean, like we should in be okay the Soviet Union, sure.
I got a blade and soy sign that said we stand for furniture. It said we stand behind everything we sell, and I thought this is why I left Russia. That's Yakov Smirnov. That's
yes.
You can go see him in Branson.
Yeah, this is the type of shit that we when we supposedly won the Cold War, that we were supposedly fighting against, and when somebody finally stands up to try to, hold the government accountable for what they're doing, of course, the rest of the government is the only way they have to redress that. So that, of course, they're gonna wag the dog and be like, no.
Well, yeah, I mean, like this. So what's essentially happened here is that the court has literally said what they're doing is so secret, even the courts don't get to know what it is, because then people will know. So it's just completely above any and all oversight whatsoever.
Yeah, which goes back to, I think we did a story not that long ago where we talked about intelligence agencies and them being essentially the shadow government that's really pulling the strings out there, because this right here is your proof. This right here, it says the intelligence agencies are doing this, but we don't have any oversight. They just get to do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, it says Wikimedia argues that the NSA surveillance discourages people from using Wikimedia's Wikipedia to research sensitive topics for fear of attracting government attention. The organization points to a 2016 article in the Berkeley Technology Law Journal that reported, quote, a statistically significant immediate decline in traffic for privacy-sensitive Wikipedia articles after June 2013, but also a change in the overall secular trend in the view count traffic, suggesting not only immediate, but also long-term chilling effects resulting from the NSA PRISM online surveillance revelations. So we know that it has an effect because, again, like what do we always talk about, right? Like when you go to search for something, well, you're going to be on a list.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, even
And
if you're even in a lot of cases, if you're using a VPN, if you're signed into your web browser, like a lot of people do using Google Chrome, you might be using a VPN, but Google still gets that data.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets turned over because it's one big happy family. And
well, remember, remember what just happened with that one murder trial, a guy that just got convicted with the murder trial, where in the trial they pulled up all of his Google searches and entered it as evidence. Now, yeah, dude's guilty as hell, but regardless, like, they used his Google search history against him in court.
Yep. And they didn't even need a warrant for that data, because all they would have had to do is go to Google and be like, hey, here's the guy's accounts. Can we have this data? And because Google in their EULA says we own this data, guess what? They own the data. They can give it over voluntarily.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It says, the article says, but in court, federal attorneys insisted that the NSA surveillance programs are such secret squirrel stuff that national security would suffer if the nation's snoops were compelled to explain how their activities can possibly square with constitutionally protected individual rights. And the court bought it. It says, in a divided ruling on Wednesday, the Fourth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said that the lawsuit must be dismissed after the government invoked the state secrets privilege, which meant that a full exploration of the issue in a court would damage national security. Reuters reported that decision was left to stand last week by the Supreme Court. Basically, it's freaking... Yeah, the state secrets privilege has a sketchy history, evolving from bad official behavior after 1948 plane crash that killed several civilian observers. When the observers' widows sued in U.S. v. Reynolds, the government argued that the information about the plane was too super secret to be revealed in a court. A complete lie, concealing official negligence, by the way. The Supreme Court agreed that some things are too sensitive to reveal in legal proceedings and gave officialdom a free pass to invoke the phrase national security as a shield against accountability. That disturbs even some modern members of the Supreme Court. Yeah.
Well, and there might very well be one or two justices on the Supreme Court that are, in favor of reviewing this kind of stuff. But you're never going to get enough people in that position willing to shake that tree. Because if you do, they're dead.
Well, yeah, and there's, even very recently, just a little bit ago, U.S. v. Subeda was a lawsuit over a black site in Poland that was being run where there was alleged torture and unlawful detention happening.
I'm shocked.
Under circumstances
At a U.S.
the
black
government
site?
was they don't maintain black sites. I can't speak to any of that. Literally can't. But
I know you can't, but come on, everybody fucking knows.
Yeah, we know that they use the national security thing to cover up all sorts of shit all the time, right? We know that they do that. We know that oh, hey, Jason's here.
Howdy, boys.
Picking me up. He just wanted to jump on so he could weigh in on this one.
I just want to jump in for a few minutes. I'm gonna play third monkey. I'm not taking over, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I was bored as shit, and I'm so fucking tired of sitting here doing nothing. So, being sick sucks. So I'm gonna hang out with you guys.
Fair enough.
All right.
17 pounds. 17 pounds since Wednesday. I've lost.
Oh, good
Jesus.
Oh.
Yeah. Hydrate, you bastard. Hydrate.
Pedialyte.
Yeah.
Yes. Pedialyte, Gatorade.
All right.
Yeah.
So, where were we?
Keep rolling.
The NSA claims that it cut back after, quote, inadvertent compliance incidents related to queries involving U.S. Person information.
I believe that about as far as I can throw a tank by myself. It reminds me an awful lot of that scene from the Bourne series where they scrapped the project what Jason Bourne was involved in and then replace it with something else. That's the exact same thing.
It turned out that wasn't useful, so we went ahead and scrapped it anyway. So this other program.
Yep. Just like that.
That's all it is. It's they got bad publicity, and when you get bad publicity, you start to lose public support.
Yep.
Right. So what do? Oh, my bad. We made a mistake. We'll totally quote unquote stop doing this or whatever, and then
and they'll shut down. In this case, the Prism Project. They shut that one down, then renamed it something else.
Yeah. Now they call it downstream surveillance, just generically downstream surveillance.
Yeah.
It's still the exact same program.
Well,
it's using literally the same programs.
It's essentially Hoover.
Well, none of that, but they have
just soak up everything.
Like they do. Yeah, they do word farming. Now also, like instead of just taking everything, they do word farming. Like they'll have a list of words or code words or whatever, and they'll just listen to everything, read everything, and if it's this code word pops up or some variation of that particular word that they're looking for, it goes in. And then they, as I said, they Kevin Bacon that shit, right? 6 degrees of separation, right? Yeah. So if they were looking at me, you guys are my associates, so they would be looking at you. You guys have families. They'd be looking at your families. Oh, your kids have friends. They'd be looking at your kids' friends and their families, and it's like they're looking at people I've never heard of. I will never meet, that I will never talk to, that have no interaction with anything I ever have to do, but because they're looking at me, they track. They're looking at them. So we're all being tracked regardless.
Well, yeah, I mean, like look at when they were actively following me and actively monitoring Chris, and then like one of my girlfriends got followed all over the place because she was at my house, and for like a week afterwards she was getting followed, and like she noticed she was getting followed. Or
honestly, I'm at the point with all of that. Yeah, I'm at the point with all of that surveillance crap that I think they want us to know they're there at this point. They're not trying to hide it.
Well, no, they want you to know because they want you to be aware that you're constantly being watched. But it's the thing though is like when Lindsay and I first started dating, like she went to sit down at her computer and her computer was running an executable out of nowhere that it had never done before, and she couldn't find it. And she's like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, they're just installing all the spyware.
Mm-hmm.
You're dating me, so now you're going to be on the list. They're going to be monitoring you. It's what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And she was like, well, I know you said that, but like to actually like catch it being installed on my computer, I told you. Like this isn't like I joke, but like I'm serious. That's going to happen.
Yeah, we joke about it, but this is reality.
Well, I mean, but that works because you're poly, right? Right. It's just a relationship between her, you, and the government. Now, that's all.
Well, and they're both constantly getting fucked by the government, so I guess that works out.
I consent. Didn't you forget someone? But government's standing there glaring.
It's a disappointed uncle.
Yeah. No, this is not a leather couch, and I am not a 90-pound blonde girl.
Oh, man. I make it a point that if I'm ever going to have verbal phone sex with somebody, I start the conversation with bomb president a la airplane. And that way.
And then having the most boring vanilla phone sex ever. Just because it's just a waste of time.
Just an hour and a half of
An hour and a half of are you there yet? Are you there yet?
How about now?
How's that feel?
Really, like I want to do that, but like then just set the phone next to the audiobook read by Gilbert Gottfried of 50 Shades. And so like I just start the conversation like that and just set it there, and every once in a while pick it back up and go bomb, and then set it back down again so that it keeps it recording. Enjoy, fuckers. Here's 3.5 hours of Gilbert Gottfried going, Anna's inner goddess was.
Oh, that. Yep, high quality entertainment. This is the hard hitting reporting you guys tuned in for.
the highbrow humor that you were looking for right here.
Or find a recording of the movie Ass from Idiocracy and just put that next to the phone.
It's actually, you know what you could do is you start it out that way and then you have like Road to Serfdom playing, and like so they just wind up listening to like all of, and just like every day yet another like it's Most Dangerous Religion, Road to Serfdom, just like some de Tocqueville and enjoy.
Do you
60
see
minutes of
Shallers?
the audio of the NFL's biggest 60 minutes of the audio of the NFL's biggest hits.
Crack.
Like, what the fuck is going on? What is? Yeah.
Mike, it has to be the mic'd up version then.
It's just the audio. It's just the audio of a tennis match. 40 love.
40 love.
Out.
That's when they'd finally figure out what the fuck they were listening to.
You just hear out, and then John McEnroe yelling, "Oh, come on, that was clearly in. Are you blind?"
Yeah, what's obviously? Are you retarded? Are you blind? What's wrong with you? Yeah. Oh, I miss Mackie.
And then
Danny
follow that
McEnroe's
up with
great.
Happy Gilmore.
Or just actual like commentary on like the women's PGA tour. Like it's just the.
You know, I'm with Robin Williams on this one, but rest his soul, where he said, I would love the guy from Mexican soccer to do golf once.
Oh, it's going to score!
Both running to the. Oh! Sorry for anybody's eardrums I just blew out, but you know.
Yeah, Shell said tennis match of the Williams sisters.
Oh, Jesus.
Enjoy that.
There's more screaming in those things than any porn ever.
That's
just like
that works. Just listen to that audio. Listening to that audio works better than thinking about baseball.
That's true. That is true. Just add in the video and it just you pretty much it's basically like simulated ED. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's not simulated at that point. It becomes actual.
Oh man. Yeah. So basically, yeah. Now
we have gone so far off the rails.
You know what? We were on the rails until Jason got on. So I just want to point out that like I was keeping us on the path.
Yeah, but they were cute little tech rails. They were cute little tech rails. You know. And I was proud. I'm just going to say, you know, hashtag proud pod dad. Jeremy's still the pod father. I can be the pod dad.
The pod father.
No, you may not call me daddy.
You know,
I'm sorry.
You know what article we have to go to, especially since Jason is on?
Uh-oh.
Okay, hold on. Is it the secret one that I sent you?
Oh no, we're not getting there yet. We're going to this one.
Oh man. Okay.
This is fantastic. I am so excited to talk about this.
I am feeling, you know, actual fear.
So anybody who's listening to this after we broadcast, I just switched my patch to a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one, and there's a reason for that. Massachusetts town spending $20,000 in COVID relief money on TMNT manhole covers.
What?
Yep. A Massachusetts town is spending...
the large manhole covers, the big metal manhole covers. They're painting them with like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle themes. Like the turtles and the logos and all that cool stuff.
Do they pay licensure for that?
Well, here's what it says.
I'm sure the mouse would have something to say about that.
Perhaps, but Massachusetts town is spending $20,000 in funds from a COVID-19 relief program to give some of its manhole covers a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles makeover. The Western Massachusetts city of Northampton is providing the funds to the Northampton Vibrance Committee to design and create 4 manhole covers based on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. Northampton received $4 million from the COVID stimulus initiative called the American Rescue Plan, according to local news affiliate WCVB. Why is this happening in Northampton? Well, that's where Mirage Studios, the original creators of the TMNT comic book series, now, or that is where they called home for a period of time. If you don't know, they're actually in the Twin Cities now, just FYI.
Yep.
The manhole covers will be featured on Northampton's Main Street and will presumably be themed around the 4 famous turtles, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo. The Northampton Vibrancy Project is a government program that aims to revitalize Northampton's downtown business community after the pandemic negatively impacted local businesses.
How do you justify 5 G's per manhole cover?
Government. Because if you wanted TMNT painted manhole covers, like there are a bunch of graffiti artists who could do them in 3.5 minutes each, and for probably
and they would look
$10.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would be that easy. But
not even that. They could go to their local high school and go to the art department. Here's this iron manhole cover. Paint it.
But see, it has to make sure, you have to make sure
but then they wouldn't be using $20,000 of the COVID relief money that was given to them.
Yeah, that's where I was going. But then
if they don't use it, right? Yeah, if they don't use it, they have to give it back.
Give it to Brett Favre so he can spend it on girls volleyball.
That's in Mississippi.
That doesn't mean they can't make a donation.
That's true.
What? I don't get that joke, but I don't think I want to know.
Brett Favre was accused of welfare fraud by misappropriating COVID relief funds. Yes,
right. Okay, yeah. But yeah, so they're literally spending $5,000 a manhole cover to make them themed, like comic book / movie / TV show / now video game characters.
Oh God.
$5,000 per manhole cover. Do you think they're painting them, or do you think they're casting them into something?
Well, they have to be able to paint them somehow. Because if they're doing some sort of vibrancy thing, I'm assuming they would use highway paint.
Well, it's cast iron, right? So I mean, you can coat cast iron, right, with the ceramic. But then if they did a ceramic, it'd just be slippery as shit when it got wet. So I assume it's just literal road paint with some sort of protective polyethylene cover.
Even that's gonna.
And I guarantee that. And I bet this. The manholes are not in a high traffic area.
Well, they said it was on their main
probably
street.
Down. Mm-hmm. Well, how big is the town?
I don't know. Northampton.
Northampton?
Northampton, Massachusetts.
It's almost like we have the ability to look this shit up.
What? Are you suggesting that we all hold compendiums of all human knowledge?
Yes, I am.
Oh shit, Dave! That's
looks
fucking
like
hilarious.
29,000. 29,000. What did Dave send you now?
I don't know if I can talk about it or not. I don't know. Dave's in the chat. He'll tell me.
He didn't send me anything.
Oh, he sent me a picture on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't.
All right.
I don't know
So
if I can
North.
share that or not.
So let me see. Northampton.
Oh, I like how you guys
Massachusetts.
continue the professionalism without me.
It's
That was
it's
nice.
30,000,
Yep.
right around 30,000 people, Andrew.
Yeah, so it's smaller than La Crosse, so that means its Main Street's actually probably the busiest street in the whole freaking town.
Just like driving down 3rd in the morning and 4th in the afternoon.
Yeah. Ironically, Main Street in La Crosse is not very busy.
No.
But yeah, so there. I mean, but like that's your tax dollars at work right there, aren't you? Aren't you proud? So that they can have.
Well, technically, okay. To be fair,
manhole covers.
To be fair, that's not our tax dollars, because that was just money that was just poofed out of nowhere. That will never be paid back. So that's our inflation.
It's our great grandkids'
tax
dollars.
Oh,
yeah, it's inflation dollars.
It's just never going to be paid back, bro. It's just going to default.
Yeah, it's the magical mystery money that somehow just develops. But essentially, it is still taxing you because it's causing inflation. And remember, roses are red, violets are blue. Taxation is theft.
Okay.
Inflation is too.
Now we're getting a literary exercise.
Yeah, see? It's called a mnemonic device. The more you know. But as long as we're laughing about that, because that's truly ridiculous, right? Like the idea that you would spend that kind of money on something so frivolous and so stupid that no one asked for and doesn't really make that much sense.
It's really not that. It's really not off base though, because there's. I remember it wasn't that long ago down in Vernon County. The county spent something close to like $500,000 fixing up a bridge that had no road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as far as government spending goes. Yeah, as far as government spending goes, right? I mean, they're going to spend the money on something, right? Because that's what government does. I mean, it's better spent on that than, another officer, or, giving the city council a raise, or some other, power growing, spend. It's stupid. I know it's stupid, but as stupid goes, it's one of the least stupid things that I can see the government.
True.
That's fair.
However, there are people who will ask for things even more stupid for government to do, and it's the hidden article. And oh boy. You you ready to laugh?
Can I bring it up?
Yes. You bring it up. I'm gonna go get refill my drink anyway. So yes, please, by all means. This is and Chris, you will have to get the link. Yes, and you will have to get the link so that you can see this woman. And the moment you see her, you will exactly understand why this is what she said. It will make absolute sense.
Then I need to get the link here. Let's go. Send it to the chat.
I will send you the link, and I have it. Just give me a second. I will send it as after I read the first paragraph or two, and I'll drop it. In the chat,
you got to do the first. You got to do the first two, because that second paragraph has the payoff.
Okay.
Oh God.
Okay. A woman in Florida went to a local board meeting to advocate for a new, and I quote, Sugar Daddy Mommy Appreciation Day. The woman, who identified herself as Ashley Cream, said at the Boca Raton, Florida Planning and Zoning Board meeting on Thursday that Florida has, quote, the largest per capita population of sugar daddies in the U.S.
Oh no.
Are you okay?
I'm just taking a deep breath here because I'm. What the fuck?
Hold on. Oh, this gets better.
What the fuck is that? Okay.
Quote, Miami, Palm Beach, and Boca lies the most concentrated populace of the aged benefactors, the woman said, with an elderly man standing behind her. Quote, let us celebrate these giving, generous Samaritans as I stand before you requesting that you do carry a Sugar Daddy and Mommy Appreciation Day on March 10th to honor those who have given us so much. She said that sugar daddies and, quote, yes, even sugar mommies are responsible for college educations, cars, homes, vans, jets, and the occasional body enhancement.
Occasional?
The woman said that sugar daddies help support our local economy.
Occasional?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's
more plastic than share.
So I was gonna say, when you look at her, okay, when you look at her photo,
my God.
Now, I'm not here to judge, but I'm going to make a guess that she may know a thing or two about occasional body enhancements.
No shit.
Being purchased.
or 7. I'm betting that gentleman standing behind her is her benefactor.
Her elderly benefactor.
Her benefactor.
She's
her. I'm sorry. Not her benefactor. Her Samaritan.
Good Samaritan. Yes.
Her good Samaritan. Yes.
I just love the way the article puts it too, about the to honor those who have given us so much. Cream said. Like,
punctuation is important there.
I mean, I'll send you the link to Dave.
It's when informed that her concern was a city council issue, she responded, I really just want to address this issue here today because I think it's a very important issue, which has nothing to do with planning and zoning. But the photo at the end of the article, though, is the best because it's Miss Cream pushing
walking out with her good Samaritan in a wheelchair.
Samaritan. Yes, or Samaritan.
Yeah, right. I'm just bringing it up here.
That's
that is cream.
That's it's something. No, the second photo is better though, or the second or third photo. Yeah, that one. She's leaving.
Said those are certified airbags.
Except they're not. They're full of saline solution. They're actually extremely dense. Like, it's
a good thing he doesn't have any teeth left because they'd knock him out.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, you can tell if you're ever curious whether or not a woman's rack is real or fake. Take her to a pool because real ones float and fake ones sink.
Float. She said, when informed by the Planning and Zoning Board Chair, Arnold Seville, that her concern was a, quote, city council issue, the woman responded, quote, I really just wanted to address the issue here today because I think it's an important issue. You guys look amazing. Love you all. Bye. The woman said, then proceeded to push the elderly man in the wheelchair out of the room.
Dude's head is between her fucking boat anchors on the way out the door, too.
No, they float, man. Those are buoys.
They don't float.
If she'd have been on the Titanic, if
she'd been on the Titanic, the ship would have gone down before the iceberg.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, because so saline solution is denser than regular water, so it sinks. So, like, if they're fake, they sink. Real ones are the same density as water, so they tend to be neutrally buoyant. Just pro tip for anyone who ever wanted to know.
Maybe she got those as the next support for a sugar daddy.
Stunning and brave.
Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave. Both. That's it. Just I love that article because as soon as I saw it, I was just like, oh wow, that is
And you know, it's very fitting that would happen in Florida. It really is.
It's
the largest
in no way
concentration of
surprising.
sugar daddies in the United States.
And mommies, be inclusive.
And
Come
mommies.
on.
And
Be
mommies.
inclusive.
I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. And mommies.
I keep hearing that sugar mommies exist, but I have yet to find one, and I think I'm starting to age out of that particular career path. And
Yeah.
Hey, not true. I'm sure Nancy Pelosi's always looking.
Jesus Christ, Dave. She looks like a trans Doc Brown.
what?
Oh.
No. Doc Brown wouldn't have knockers like that.
And Schaller, she does wear a back brace. It's called a corset.
I mean, she might actually just be shaped like that. I have seen women like that are just shaped kind of impossibly.
Well, I mean, the occasional surgical enhancement
like-
could cause that.
Like
The
Jessica Rabbit.
occasional- I'm just saying, like I've known women who are kind of built like Jessica Rabbit. Like they exist.
Oh, I have to. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. We have a
There-
mutual friend in Arizona who's.
they definitely exist. Like there are some.
Good God.
No. Now that we derailed this podcast, I had to give that.
Oh,
Oh my
article to
god.
Andrew.
Oh dude. Have you seen Okay, so if you're going to look at that article, you have to actually watch the video because you have to watch her turn sideways because she's shaped like a fucking AirPod.
what?
Why?
All right.
Why would you do
pressing
that to
play on
me?
the video.
Oh
my God.
Saying, she's shaped like an AirPod, okay?
Absolutely.
The chick
is.
advocating for Sugar Daddy Appreciation Day is shaped like an AirPod. Oh my. That's again, this is the highbrow quality content that you tune in for right here. We aim to please with real news that you care about, hard-hitting and rich.
Well, he's rich, and them things are definitely hard hitting.
Hard-hitting? Oh my.
I want to point out that things were going very well before Jason jumped on.
Yeah, we were staying on track pretty well. I was impressed with us, and then
You're welcome. You're welcome, listener.
oh man. So from that, should we go? I want to talk about electric vehicles because this article makes me happy because I
Since
hate
we're in
electric
Florida
vehicles.
already.
And we're already in Florida anyway.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. I looked up her name.
Oh,
There's
Lord.
another article out of the UK. A woman with fake breasts shocked planning council members after calling for a sugar daddy and mommy appreciation day at a meeting about flammable liquids. Ashley Cream took to the microphone at a local meeting about the bulk storage of flammable liquids during public question time.
So they're talking about flammable liquids. She heard liquids and she came running.
Hold on. Cream said, quote, sugar daddies, both gay and straight, and sugar mommies are responsible for college education, cars, home, rents, jets, bikes, Birkins, and the occasional body enhancement. At which point Cream rubbed her visibly enlarged breast and said, quote, but not me, though. I'm all natural.
Right.
She might be, because that's what I was saying, is like she seems actually kind of in proportion and like built like my kind of chick. But either way, as
Schaller, goddamn it. What are those water tankers to put fires out?
I am neither rich enough nor old enough to attract her attention.
You don't think the silver
Don't sell
fox would
yourself
draw her
short
in?
yet.
Hey man, I'm definitely not rich enough. All right, like that ain't happening. Yeah, I got the gray. I got the gray going on. All right, like I'm looking my age. I look the middle aged that I am.
Hey,
But
we never thought we'd make it this far, so I mean, we're winning.
I thought for sure I was gonna join the 27 club, bro. So, like, yeah, no, but hey, man, I got hot 25-year-olds into me. Like, the gray works. All right, the gray works. They dig it. It works out. Just saying.
I had to bring that up because it was a meeting of the
25-year-olds
flammable
after you.
Yeah, bulk storage of flammable liquids. That's when she brought that up.
Bulk storage of liquids. That's what she heard, and she was like, "Hey, that's about me."
I store lots of solutions.
I'm really good at storing liquids and bulk. Oh.
Them things are almost as big as the prosthetic ones of that Canadian dude.
They're not. I mean,
he's suspended though.
They're big, but they're not that. I don't know. I have a completely different interpretation of big boobs to regular, like, reasonable human beings.
Dave, wait. I draw cartoons and I married a doctor. Crap, I have a sugar mama.
Exactly.
You sure
so
do,
you should
sir.
be so you should be all about her initiative here, even though she asked it of the planning commission on storing flammable liquids.
Was
in
the
bulk.
planning and zoning board during a discussion on the bulk storage of flammable liquids.
Oh my. I mean, if the liquids that she interacts with are flammable, you should see a doctor.
Well, that old guy's obviously on oxygen, so it's entirely possible.
Are you kidding me? He doesn't even shoot any liquids. That's just dust. Just every.
Right? Coffee cream is flammable. Don't ask me how.
It's true. It's true. Non-dairy coffee creamer is in fact flammable. Highly flammable, actually. It does fun things. Put it next to a road flare.
That's
and
a
compressed air
That's
through
a
the bottom of the
discussion for
container.
offline.
Yes.
That's a discussion for offline.
You know that whole intelligence thing with the super secret we were talking about earlier, Andrew? That's going to definitely put us back on the radar. Granted, we never came off, but
There's videos on YouTube of scientific demonstrations of it. It's fine. But anyway, so since we're talking about things that randomly catch fire, you know what else randomly catches fire? Electric vehicles in salt water.
Before you get started, Amber and I were scrolling through the was it fire department guy? He does the funny shorts and stuff, and he did one not that long ago about tools that they're developing to help combat electrical vehicle fires. Because a standard vehicle fire is around 1,500 degrees, takes about 1,000 gallons of water or so to put out. An electrical vehicle fire is right around 5,000 degrees and takes up to 40,000 gallons of water to put out, and they will spontaneously reignite themselves.
Yeah, you know why? Because lithium.
Yes.
But
there was one where they actually...
Go ahead.
They had to submerge a vehicle for 30 days for it to stop trying to light itself on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And you just let them fucking burn. That's true.
A Bronx supermarket One of the electric scooters, the battery caught on fire, and they couldn't put it out, and it started the whole supermarket on fire. And then like 5 or 6 firefighters were hurt trying to put out the fire. That was today. That was New York. Yeah.
Wow.
It. Yeah. So if you paid any attention to the news during the hurricane and stuff in Florida, you heard about how electric vehicles were causing all kinds of problems, right? And a Republican state lawmaker in Florida this week asked transportation officials to consider whether electric vehicles should be banned from evacuation routes until more charging infrastructure is installed along major highways. During discussion on charging stations at a committee hearing on Thursday, State Senator Jonathan Martin, a Republican from Fort Myers, raised concerns that electric vehicles might obstruct evacuation routes in hurricane season if they run out of power on highways where charging stations are unavailable. Quote, with a couple of guys behind you, you can't get out of the car and push it to the side of the road. Traffic backs up, and what might look like a 2-hour trip might turn into an 8-hour trip once you're on the road, Martin said. My concern is there's not an infrastructure currently available in the state of Florida for the amount of EVs that might be used to evacuate on evacuation routes during a time of emergency. Martin's comments were addressed by Trey Tillander, Executive Director of Transportation Technologies at the Florida Department of Transportation. State transportation officials are currently consulting with lawmakers on how to spend federal funding from President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law to develop electric vehicle infrastructure. Quote, from the article, the Biden administration has made more than $900 million available to build EV chargers across approximately 53,000 miles of highway across the nation, and Florida is one of 35 states, the District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico, who have submitted EV infrastructure deployment plans approved by the U.S. DOT. Tillander told lawmakers he would raise Martin's concerns to other agency officials, but said the department's preference is to find ways to help EV owners evacuate with their vehicles just like gas-powered car owners. No, don't help them. Screw them. They're idiots. Leave them behind. Let nature take its course.
That's the only proper way to deal with EV owners.
I hate electric vehicles so much, so deeply to my core. I despise them. It is difficult for me to properly explain. Like, because you not only, so like what happened in the hurricane, right? And the reason these things were bursting into flames is because when you introduce salt water to an electric circuit, entertaining things happen because sodium really likes to transmit electrons. So you wind up with a completed circuit, which hyper discharges the battery, which causes the battery to overheat, explode, thereby exposing the lithium to air and the moisture. Oh, Jason's out.
There goes
See you,
Jason.
Bud. But it exposes the lithium to air and moisture, which causes the lithium to combust. And lithium combusting burns real hot, real fast, and is real hard to put out because if you spray water on it, you make it worse.
It's grease fire, but to the nth fucking degree.
Well, it's even worse. See, grease fires, though, the reason that grease fires get worse when you spray water on them is because you're spreading the grease, right? It doesn't actually do anything. It just spreads it. When you put water on a lithium fire, the thing that is reacting with the lithium to cause it to combust is the water. So adding more is counterproductive.
And Dave, how do I feel about electric motorcycles? I hate electric motorcycles more than I hate electric cars because a motorcycle because a motorcycle should have one of two distinct noises. Either the throaty rumble of a straight-piped cruiser or the high-pitched whine of a properly tuned crotch rocket. There is no in-between.
See, I don't agree. I like small displacement motorcycles anyway. So, and I pretty much think Harleys are one of the dumbest things on the planet.
Oh, I'm not a huge fan
So-
of Harley Davidson because Harley Davidson is a lot like, you know, an old British engine. Oil underneath, there's oil in it. No oil underneath, thing's bone dry.
Well, I mean, see, since Harley has caught up, like since S&S caught up to Yamaha in the 1980s, I mean, they just did. Like, not, they caught up to them in the 1980s. I mean, they've caught up to what Yamaha was doing in the 1980s. Since that happened, their motors are better, but the problem is that between S&S and Harley Davidson, what you have is a wildly overpriced, slow, not fuel efficient, useless pile of crap.
Sure, I agree. I'm not.
And-
I didn't say that I like Harleys or anything like that. Just saying that even any cruiser bike, whether it's a Yamaha or anything else, they should have a sound.
Well,
And
I mean,
an electric
the Honda,
electric one going by going, it sounds more like I'm gay.
no, I mean, they're interesting. I don't mind electric motorcycles as much as I hate electric cars because motorcycles are never really, in my mind, never register as like a primary mode of transportation. Anyway, they don't register as anything that I worry that much about going incredibly long distances on, anything like that. I'm good with an electric motorcycle. Would I buy one? Yeah, probably. I've actually looked at a couple pretty hard. I want a Halcyon though more. So Halcyon, it's a little 250. It looks like an old school, like early Harley or Indian is what it looks like. They're so awesome. I love them. I want one in the worst way. Isn't that Wisconsin blasphemy? I don't care though, because realistically, like Harley used to be really cool, and it's just not now. It's just not. There's a reason why their sales keep going down, is because everyone's figured out that they're overpriced crap that's usually bought by some fat accountant who's having a midlife crisis.
Yep.
Like, that's so that he can feel cool. Because cool guys, they don't buy Harleys, right? Like, cool bikers don't buy Harleys. They buy, or at least current Harleys. They buy 1960s, 1970s Harleys. They buy 49 knuckleheads and 52 panheads, right? Like, or they buy old Indians. They buy that stuff. That's what the cool bikers do. The real bikers. The people who buy modern Harleys are generally morons and lame as hell. And I would rather have my Ducati back 1,000,000 times than Lindsay's Harley. I loved my Ducati. I loved my Ducati.
I loved the bike I used to have too. It was a 99 Superhawk 996. That thing, when you decided to downshift and go, it went, and it went now. But I mean, right now, if I were to get a bike, I'd probably get something in that. I'd want an old bike, probably at the newest mid 70s, that I could then fix up and make my own.
And like I'm super opinionated about bikes, like just like I am cars, because I'm a bike and car guy. Like, I'm all about it. I think that the worst thing that happened to motorcycle culture in history is probably like American choppers and the stupid custom chopper. Yeah. Those things are basically unrideable crap. Mm-hmm. They are awful. Trust me, I've seen a bunch of them up close, and they are crap. They are virtually unusable.
They're ergonomically atrocious. So if you tried to ride them for any duration whatsoever, you'd be so worn out.
Well, and I had a conversation with Jesse James, and that same night I had a conversation with Paul Jr. and Paul Sr. from Orange County Choppers. Mm-hmm. For the 150th anniversary or whatever, or 100th anniversary for
S&S.
S&S.
Yep.
Yeah. So I ran into them all at Hooters here in La Crosse after the event and stuff.
Well, I'm sure that was a disappointment.
Eh. Well, the Hooters in La Crosse was definitely Hooters is always a disappointment. Let's be honest. It's you go if you want it to not be. You go to the Tilted Kilt or you go to Twin Peaks. Like, let's be honest. Yep. You know where you go. You don't go to Hooters. But anyway, but like talking to them, like the interesting thing is like Jesse James choppers are always more functional, and every one that I've seen has always been more functional. And when I talked to him about it, what I thought was interesting is that he had the design philosophy that a bike should be rideable first and look cool second. Whereas when you talk to the guys from OC, they were like, well, I mean, it's about making it look cool, man. And like, you can tell that like they didn't care if their bikes were rideable. And I've seen 4 OCC designs. I've tried to ride one and it's unrideable. Like it's so awkward and uncomfortable and it sucks. They're awful. Absolutely awful. Piles of garbage. You know what I could ride is I could ride my Suzuki Intruder 800 real well. Super nice bike. Loved that bike. Same with my Ducati, right? I had Ducati Monster. I loved my Ducati. That thing, you could ride it all day. It's super comfortable. It's super nice. It's fast. It's great. Like, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is that when it comes to electric bikes, they remind me a lot of crotch rockets. And when especially Italian crotch rockets started becoming big, and Italian vehicles will always have a special place in my heart. Obviously I drive an Alfa Romeo.
Right.
So Italian vehicles will always have a special place in my heart, but like, and I loved my Ducati, but when they first came on the scene, right, everyone criticized them as like, oh, they sound like crap. And they just kind of were. And they don't, they sound racy and impressive, but I don't need the sound if I'm riding a motorcycle because I'm in the wind anyway. So I'm already getting all the wind. I'm already getting all that. But and generally a motorcycle is a toy, right? But an electric car is your actual mode of transportation. And you are hinging all of your hopes on being able to get from point A to point B. And in this case, and what this guy's concern is you're hinging all of your hopes on getting from point A to point B in the event of an emergency on the electrical grid working.
Right. Especially in a place like Florida where it routinely doesn't because of, things called hurricanes.
Or I don't know, like maybe California, which told everybody not to charge their electric vehicles because the grid was overloaded during the summer.
Right. That would happen 2 weeks after they said, oh, no more gas-powered vehicles after 2035.
Yep, exactly. And that's where you're at, is you're hinging all of your hopes on a failing infrastructure. And on a lacking infrastructure, because you may or may not find a vehicle charging station, right? Like La Crosse has like 2, maybe. It might only have 1.
That's funny because like Mauston, small town about, I think they're up to 6,000 people now. They have 3.
We have 2 in La Crosse. We have 1 that's at a Quick Trip gas station, right? Same one that also has CNG.
Oh, the one down on Cass, right?
Yep. Yeah, Cass Street one. So there's that one. That one has I think 2 charging stations. And then there's a whole Tesla, whatever they call them, supercharger station or whatever, that has like a bunch of them. In on Alaska, in like the business park over by Walmart and stuff. And that's it. That's all we got, to my knowledge. I could be wrong. I don't really look for them, but as far as I've ever noticed, those are the only ones.
Wow.
So, those are kind of it in La Crosse. And the reality is that Florida isn't any better. It doesn't have that many vehicle charging stations, which means this concern is like if you're trying to flee a hurricane with one of these things and you're sitting in traffic for a while, yes, you're not using any power while you're sitting still, but chances are your air conditioner is on, which is using electricity. Your radio is on, which is using electricity. You have your cell phone plugged into a charging port, so that's pulling electricity. And if your battery dies, it is really hard to get those things to move.
Yeah, well, they're insanely heavy, for one. And for two, because it's an electric motor, without an electric charge being delivered, there's nothing, it's actively fighting you when you're trying to push it off the road.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's magnets, right? Like that's how an electric motor works. And if there is nothing changing the polarity of those magnets through electrical current, it's simply locking it in place.
Right. So even if you were to, say, use the old line up to bumper trick and push it out of the way, the chances of you actually breaking those electric motors at the wheels is incredibly high.
Yeah, well, for sure. I mean, and it's... So... during a discussion, he raised the concern that they'll block the evacuation routes. Where was it? His comments were addressed, blah, 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 blah. I said some of the things we're looking into is portable EV chargers. You know what we call those?
Generators.
Gas-powered generators.
Yep.
Gosh, you know what would really make an electric vehicle, now that I think about it, work really well on like long ranges and things, is if you could use the gas powered, like you had the gas powered generator on board the vehicle.
Gosh, it's almost like that technology already exists, and
wouldn't that be cool? Like I feel like that would be the way.
It'd be kind of like that video we saw the young woman nannying kids the other day. Who, their suggestion was have a phone so they could reach anybody in the house, and all you had to do is call that one number, and maybe we hang that phone up on a wall and we give it a cord or something so you can't lose it.
Yeah, see, and then that way, and for people when like their cell phones are dead, if they need to make an emergency call, you could have this phone mounted on a wall, right? And you could charge them like money, like just like a coin, like a quarter.
Right.
And then they could make a phone call.
Yeah, see? It's almost like there could be some kind of entrepreneurial thing going on here.
We're inventing revolutionary technologies right now.
For everybody in the audience right now, they're like, do you remember how you never really wanted to put that receiver up to your ear? It was just like, I think I can hear you.
Dude, you don't want to have unprotected ear sex with random strangers.
God, no.
Like,
I remember in high school, we had one right outside the gym, and the janitor would just stand there after the games are over, and about every 5 people, he'd spray it quick with Lysol and put it back.
Yeah. Yep, just clean it. Dave said that they had chargers at Google's parking lot.
But the charger cables kept breaking.
But the charger cables kept breaking in the ice storms. Yeah.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say, there's one going on right now, right?
Dude, you have not experienced the all-wheel drive in my Alfa Romeo. I am unconcerned.
Oh, I'm just saying.
I am unconcerned. It's easily as good as my Audi's was. Which says a lot. If you've ever experienced Audi Quattro, you know how good it is. Alfa Romeo's is real close. Real close to as good. It is very impressive. I fucking love that car. Oh, I love that car. Anyway, okay, there's apparently one other charging station in town, but you get my point.
Oh, Doll has one?
Apparently. But you get my point though. Like there aren't that many. He's worried about it. But the guy who was trying to defend it, he said some of the things we're looking into is portable EV chargers. So if an electric vehicle runs out of charge, there are technologies. Again, they're called generators.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I
use gas.
considered living in such a rural area. I considered picking up one of those giant military surplus Ingersoll Rand generators, the big diesel
Those
ones.
things are awesome. I really want one.
And just advertise. Hey, electric car dead. Call this number. I'll come out and charge you up so you can get back on the road.
Don't those have like 4 210s or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're just. Yeah, they will charge an electric car just fine. But that's the thing, right? Like that's why fossil fuels make sense, is because they are so energy dense. They put out so much energy when burned versus what it took to create them.
Mm-hmm.
They're just still ultimately far more energy efficient than electric vehicles can possibly be. Yeah. And that's ignoring the child slavery that is flat out necessary for electric vehicles. But anyway.
Well, I mean, and even if you look at other fossil fuels like coal, the amount of energy output from burning coal versus nuclear, fission nuclear, it's not that far off. The difference is the refuel cycle.
I mean, that's... Yeah, and what's funny is, like, that's the thing, right? If we had nuclear power, like more nuclear power in the United States, electric vehicles would make way more sense.
Yes.
Because with nuclear power, we have theoretically infinite amounts of power to draw from, and we're good. So we can just keep recharging vehicles, you're fine. So one of the things that I laugh about with, like, the Fallout series with the nuclear-powered vehicles, I'm like, so electric.
Right.
Like, that's why they work, is because they would be electric, because that's how nuclear power works.
Right.
But anyway, so
no, the direct steam, damn it, direct steam.
I mean, that would be interesting. Technically you could use a thermocouple.
Yeah, I suppose you could.
There are these pieces of equipment that, and I cannot remember what they're called, but basically it's an unshielded core.
What?
That has a thermocouple next to it. And it's essentially a nuclear battery that they used to use quite a bit in, like, the 60s and 70s, actually clear up through the 80s in the Soviet Union, to generate power in remote locations. Because the core would slide into a shield, like a battery getting plugged in, but it had a thermocouple on the side, and it would just use the heat differential that's being generated by the hot core to create electricity.
Okay.
They work really, really great. And then in 2001, I think some guys found some abandoned ones that were orphan sources in, like, Hungary or Bulgaria or something, and it didn't go well.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, they were like, hey, these are really warm and it's really cold outside, because they're looking for firewood, and they're like, oh, we're going to spend the night next to them. And then they're like, 2 of them are like, hey, we should strap these to our backs so we stay warm while we gather firewood. And
direct, for those of you unaware, direct gamma radiation from a nuclear core is a bad thing.
It was not a healthy experience for them. The one guy died. The other guy did eventually recover, but he's horrendous scarring. The last guy got real sick and recovered because he never actually strapped one to his frickin' back.
Yes, actually, Tinkerer says, isn't that the same type of power source used on the Voyager probes? And that is exactly what they used.
Yep, that is exactly what they used, because a thermocouple just needs heat, and that's basically what a nuclear core is a source of heat. So it works out really well. But anyway, so they said, so if an electric vehicle runs out of charge, there are technologies. We have our road rangers. We have our emergency assistance vehicles that we deploy during a hurricane evacuation that have gas, and we need to provide that same level of service to electric vehicles. Are they going to carry just giant shipments of AA's? What do you...
No, I mean, what you'd probably end up with is a 2-ton truck with a gigantic diesel tank on the back of it and an Ingersoll Rand generator being drug around. At least that's what I would do.
Yeah, except it's the government, which means that they'll have like a wind turbine that they deploy.
Or
And
or if they
plug it
do
in.
use an internal combustion generator, they'll go to Harbor Freight on the way out there.
Oh God. Yeah, it's just as good. It's not. He added
To be
that the
fair, there are
division.
some things that they sell that are decent, but you'd got to pay the little bit more for them.
Man, I love Harbor Freight for stuff that I only need to work for like one project. Like it's fantastic. Like I only need this once, so I can spend next to nothing on it. And so when it inevitably breaks, I go, well, I only need it for one project anyway. Let's see. So he added that the Division of Emergency Management has guidance encouraging people to plan ahead for disasters. Oh, gosh. Including making sure that their EVs are fully charged before they evacuate and finding relocation destinations that are within the range of their cars.
Yeah, that'll work out really great when you've got a hurricane coming to town and you're, way on the southern end of Florida, and the entire storm takes up the whole fucking state.
Just don't drive so far. It'll be okay. Like, this is literally what they're saying. This is how stupid the electric vehicles that they want to mandate are, is that their solution for the fact that you're probably going to run out of charge trying to drive away from emergency situations. Their solution is just don't run so far.
Mm-hmm.
This is the emergency management equivalent of those like tips to save money from like Forbes that suggest like only go to the movies 3 times a month.
Right.
And it's like every reasonable human being in America goes, who can afford to go to the movies regularly even once a month?
I can honestly say I haven't been able to afford to go to a movie in over a year. So, there's that. Thanks, inflation.
The last movie that I went to go see in theaters was a special showing of They Shall Not Grow Old when it was doing its limited theater release. Me and Lindsay specifically went to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I was off work. She called in sick to work so she could come. And we went to go see it because they only had 2 showings of it in the local theater. And we got to see They Shall Not Grow Old in the 4K on the big screen in 3D with the movie surround sound. And it was one of the most amazing. Like, that was worth the like $80 it cost me.
Right.
Because it was one hell of an experience. One hell of an experience. I have it on Blu-ray, and it's just not the same. It's just...
Dave, I saw an article from CNBC that said your average 25-year-old male earns $100,000. I don't make $100,000. My wife and I
don't
combined
make $100,000.
Don't make $100,000.
Yeah, I don't make $100,000. I could have a 3-income household and still not hit $100,000.
Right?
Like, what? Are you kidding me? The average bullshit. Yeah, based on our survey of 30 25-year-olds who all live in Lower Manhattan.
Right? Cantankerous,
I did go see Deadpool too.
Yes. Cantankerous, I actually have a funny story about the second Deadpool. I think she was 5 or 6 at the time, absolutely loved the first Deadpool because that's the kind of parents we are. And when the second one hit theaters, we went to go watch it at the theater in Toma, and they're like, you can't bring her in here. It's like, I'm her parent and I'm giving her permission to go. No, you can't bring her in here. It's like, okay, I just won't give you my money then. I called another neighboring town. I was like, hey, kid really wants to see this. I'm with her. Is that okay? Yeah, we just have to charge her as an adult because it's a rated R movie. Perfect.
Dude, my mom paid for me and a girlfriend to go see Cold Mountain in the theaters.
Cold Mountain?
Cold Mountain. If you've never seen it, It's like this love story-ish thing. Takes place during the American Civil War, the very end of the Civil War. It's got Jude Law and Nicole Kidman starring. There's a ton of female nudity in this film and a lot of incredibly graphic violence. And I was like 16 and so was she, and my mom was like, yeah, we should go see it. So I just want to point out, fuck that shit.
I'm talking about Chloe though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, she's decently. I get it, but still. Dave, did she hate you? I thought it was going to be better. I mean, there was a good amount. Okay. So the opening, close to the opening where it's the actual battle and stuff, that was good. And it wasn't a terrible film. I actually don't mind Cold Mountain. It just wasn't as good as it could have been.
Couldn't be because of the cast.
The cast was actually okay. The cast was okay. Nicole Kidman can't really do.
But Jude Law is very hit or miss. He either really knocks it out of the park or he.
I mean, you had an Englishman and an Australian trying to do Southern accents, which isn't that hard for either one of them because the Southern accent is very, 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 very close to an English accent. So that was pretty easy for them. They didn't nail it perfectly, but they did pretty well. I enjoyed the film. Okay. I enjoyed the film, and not just because I was holding a pretty girl's hand through the whole thing. Okay. I actually enjoyed the film.
Were you really holding her hand?
I was through the whole movie. Yeah. Young love. She actually got murdered by her boyfriend years later in Florida. But anyway, speaking of Florida,
Andrew, when was the last time you were in Florida?
No, so he's in prison. It's a whole thing. But anyway, Florida did not have significant issues with EVs becoming an obstruction during the evacuation for Hurricane Ian last year. No, they all just caught fire afterwards.
Right?
Electric vehicles make up just over 1% of the vehicles in Florida. There were 203,094, which seems like an oddly specific number, electric vehicles registered in Florida as of December 2022, a small fraction of the more than 19 million vehicles registered in the state. A Democratic lawmaker from Boca Raton pushed back on Martin's comments. Quote, I don't think you can ban an electric vehicle from evacuating because that may be the only car someone has. Because they're stupid. Let nature take its course.
Well, it's like that makes me think of from iRobot, right? Does this bike run on gas? Yeah. Gas explodes, right? But it works.
Yeah, it's supposed to. That's how it works.
And Andrew Schaller caught what I was getting at. At the movie.
I will point out, okay, that I was a good boy because my mom was with me at the movie. I just also want to mention that.
That doesn't mean you were sitting together.
No, she was right freaking there.
Oh, okay.
Dude, she was right there. No, I was a good boy, all right?
Because otherwise she'd have beat the piss out of you.
No, she would have just been very, very disappointed in me. Especially because
however, after the movie, when they went home,
I mean, I was 16. I could drive on my own, so I drove her home, all on my own.
Oh, I'm sure you drove something home.
Anyway, it was a stick shift car.
So you're a sub.
We've covered this. Cat ears, Joker. I'm a switch. Anyway, so
Oh,
It says,
well, that's not good, Jason.
curfew because of the oil refinery over the hill from me released 20 tons of metal.
Without
Jason
telling
said,
back in November.
I just learned I'm not supposed to eat locally grown food because the oil refinery over the hill from me released 20 tons of metal-laden toxic dust without telling anyone back in November. Neat! How helpful of them. I too
Yes.
enjoy eating metal dust.
Toxic
Yay.
metal dust, yes.
Toxic metal dust.
So it's
Who doesn't?
probably laden with, things that, I don't know, maybe some cobalt, maybe a little bit of heavy nickel.
Take a bite out of a piece of broccoli. Why is it spicy?
Shaller, exactly. Get you and your family out of that state.
Yes.
Just don't go to Ohio.
It doesn't exist anyway. We all know that. It's actually just Indiana continued. So anyway,
half goes to Indiana, half goes to Pennsylvania.
Florida's DOT is expected to receive $198 million in federal funds over the next 5 years to build electric vehicle charging stations. Telander said officials have met with Wawa and other businesses to coordinate construction plans. Federal guidelines require that new charging stations be 50 miles apart and open to all passenger electric vehicles. In the first round of grants, the stations must be built within 1 mile of the interstate system, and the Biden administration requires that consideration must be given to rural and underserved communities. I just want to point out that this is not about a greener world. This is not about helping anyone. What this is about is controlling how you move.
Yes, because anything the government claims to give you for free is all about controlling you, whether it's controlling what you eat, where you go, what you think half the time.
Think about it, right? Think about it. What are they incentivizing? They're incentivizing the interstate system.
Yep.
Much easier for them to monitor. They are keeping you to within a mile of that interstate system in order to move in a vehicle that they can remotely control.
Yep.
That they can remotely disable. This is the point. It is not and has never been about the environment. It's not about making, it's not about saving the fucking sea turtles. It's about controlling how you move and when.
Yep. Because if every vehicle on the road is electric, it's so easy for them to just go, no, the grid can't handle it today. Click. Now you're stuck.
Or, sorry, your social credit score isn't high enough for you to be able to go to grandmother's house today.
Yep.
No over the river and through the woods for you.
Now go on social media.
You said something, yeah.
Yep. Go on social media and sing the government's praises so we let your vehicle work again.
Sorry, you shared an offensive meme. I'm afraid that you are not able to go get groceries for the next 30 days. It's what it's about.
Yep.
It's not about, it has never been about the environment, because the least environmentally friendly cars on the planet are electric vehicles.
Yep. Because lithium is so terrible when they have to mine it.
They require lithium, most of which is strip mined. Yep. They require cobalt, most of which is mined by child slaves in Africa. They require a bunch of other exotic metals that require absolute, complete, total, and ridiculously irreversible destruction of the environment around them to obtain.
Yep.
That is how you make an EV. And the bodies of EVs are generally made out of what? Plastic. And what is that plastic made out of? Oil. Oil used inefficiently.
Yep. Or, nowadays, obviously, there's so many different types of polymers that they can create synthetically, but still, the point remains, they're still petroleum based, even in most of those synthetic polymers.
Well, even the synthetic polymers, right? Like when you talk about synthetic polymers, you have to remember that the synthetic polymers need base elements in order to be created. And those base elements are still mined.
Petroleum byproducts. And
Yeah.
mined. And yeah, Jason points out Ford has filed a patent to have vehicles that can repo themselves. Miss a payment? Oh, recall.
Oh, it's not even about missing a payment. Oh, did you say something extra offensive on social media? Are you committing wrong things? Sorry, no car for you.
Well,
that's what it's about.
This all plays into the whole you will own nothing and you will enjoy it and you will be happy.
Yeah. I mean, we'll look at how many people lease their vehicles, which means they don't own them. They're only renting them.
Yeah.
And then when you go, why would you lease? You don't actually own the vehicle. Oh, well, because I'm just going to trade it in and get something else. And they don't care because it's throwaway culture, right?
Yep. And actually, my daughter and I were just having that conversation earlier today. There's a video that's been circulating around about walls and homes in Germany versus walls and homes in the United States. The walls in the homes in Germany are 10 inches thick and it's made out of solid plaster and concrete and very robust. In America, what do we build our houses out of? Sticks, paper, and gypsum.
That, to be fair, historically, Germany has had to be vaguely concerned with the effects of explosives devices.
I can't imagine what would ever be the impetus for something like that.
You can watch video of a flyover of Berlin in April of 1945 to know what would be the impetus of that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But I mean, Germany, though, they over-engineer everything. Like, I've owned Porsches. I love Porsches.
Mm-hmm.
They're still my favorite brand, right? Like, Alfa Romeo's right behind them, but Porsche's at the top. I had 10 millimeter bolts holding my starter in. I just want to put in perspective. They were 10 millimeter for a starter this big around.
Yeah.
Microwave-proof buildings.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about the when you talk about Germans over engineering. We were just talking about it in another group chat. The HK pistols with the mag releases and stuff. That they don't have to use the trigger guard style mag release, but they're German, so they over engineered it.
Yeah. Yeah. Jace said in the comments, Declaration of North America. The White House released it on January 10th. Look that up. It is a huge black pill. The link will be in the group chat. If you are listening, you'll have to come find it on our YouTube, because that seems like way more effort than I'm willing to put in. But to add that in. But we're kind of coming to the end here. We got about 12 minutes left.
Do we want to go through our list?
We have one final article that we're not going to talk about. I will mention it because it is in the links. A cop left a woman handcuffed in his squad car and parked on the train tracks. The car was hit by the train, and the DA has dropped felony charges because the cop was given qualified immunity.
So a woman is dead because of gross negligence.
Oh, she survived.
Oh, did she survive?
She did survive. Nope, Rios, she was 21. She did survive. Badly injured, but she did survive. But yeah, the cop won't be charged. Even though he handcuffed her, put her in the back of the squad, which means that she can't open the doors from the inside, and parked his car on the train tracks.
Yeah. I'm not saying that there's a solution for this,
But there
but
is a solution.
there is
for
a
this.
solution for this.
There's a reason why. I had to order a second one that has the proper chain length, and I'm planning on giving this one to somebody, but there's a reason why I have that beauty as a necklace.
Yeah. The front.
Guillotine.
I would highly recommend this guy get a Marie Antoinette haircut. I mean, but that's just me.
Yeah. Jason, I'm shocked that the train didn't swerve. Yeah, whenever I hear that people got hit by a train, I'm like, how? How do you accidentally get hit by a train? Like, is it really an accident if it's solved as simple as like
Yeah.
they're not going to swerve.
No,
You know where they're going.
In fact, it's laid out right at your feet. You can tell exactly what track they're on.
Yeah, you can literally look down. Is it between the tracks? It's going there.
Oh God.
Oh, but yes. So he was given qualified immunity, and the DA dropped it, and so he almost murdered a woman through his negligence, and because he's wearing his magic suit and his magic shiny piece of metal, he's fine.
How often do we see, not just with negligence, but just gross incompetence and innocent people get killed? And
Oh, yeah.
the cops say, he was acting in the commission of his duties. It's okay. Qualified immunity
all the time. They almost gave the chick cop here in town that killed that 16-year-old girl by T-boning her at 110 miles an hour, running a red light when she was the second car through on the way to a simple bar fight. They almost gave her qualified immunity too.
I was so happy when they didn't. That was, oh God.
The only reason they didn't is because all of the local PD also said there was no reason for her to be doing that and came out against her.
Which makes you wonder, even with male cops to female cops, there's that thin blue line of quote unquote brotherhood. What did she have on the rest of them?
Oh, it was because she was a chick. It's what it is. It's because she was a chick. Remember that the La Crosse PD is also the same PD that got in a bunch of trouble over their racism and sexism and everything a couple of years ago. So,
yeah, and yet there was that pedo cop that was grooming a high school girl that's still not in prison.
Oh, yeah. So, FTP, ACAB.
Yep.
All right. So
the people in Minneapolis who burned down the 3rd precinct had the right idea.
Yeah, they actually were peaceful, in my opinion. Anyway,
yes.
So they were peaceful protesters. They were attacking the correct enemy. But Brandenburg v. Ohio, in no way are we encouraging you to burn down police precincts. We are simply saying that when that happened, we are not sad.
Correct. Time links. Let's go, he says.
Yeah.
All right. If you're a coffee addict like I am, check out the link down below for Coffee Brand Coffee. It's my affiliate link. By using it, you kind of help me out a little bit. But if you're not a coffee fan and you like tea or cocoa, they've got that option too. Maybe they also have decaf if you just like the taste of coffee, but then you're a weirdo. But check it out. Hey, leave a review. I know Jeremy goes through all of the reviews that have photos and videos. And oftentimes he does send out discount codes and stuff for that kind of stuff too. So check him out, give him a like, and hey, you support me. So you're on mute, Andrew.
There we go. If you want to learn how to think, or you have kids who want to learn how to think, or you want to teach them how to think, buy Dereka's book, Think for Yourself, a thinking workbook for beginners. It is for beginners. It's a workbook. Please use the skills that it teaches before you leave a review. Otherwise, we will make fun of you on this show. Also, if you want to care for your beard like a Viking like I do, you will go to thebeardstruggle.com. Use code InkedAnarchist15. You get 15% off of your order, and you get all sorts of cool beard care stuff that is absolutely fantastic. It does great things for your beard. You get to get a beard straightener from them. You can get a beard growth serum if you're struggling with a patchy beard or whatever. You can get some cool scents. They even have stuff for the ladies with shampoo, conditioner, all sorts of like perfumes. They got colognes for the men. They got all sorts of cool stuff. But whatever you're going to buy from them, including this fabulous hat that I am currently sporting, it is thebeardstruggle.com, and you want to use code InkedAnarchist15, and you get 15% off of that order. Also, our boy Dave at poppinspatches.com. He makes the tropical fish that Chris is sporting. He makes all sorts of cool stuff. He makes all sorts of nostalgic stuff. It's all awesome. It's really high quality. It's really great.
Here's another one that he makes that's one of my favorites.
Oh, yes, the ATF NPC. You want to go check him out, and make sure that you use Abolish ATF when you go to do that, and you get a discount as well. He supports channels, longtime supporter of the channel, and we love him, and we love his designs, and we buy a ton of his designs. We've helped him create multiple designs of his, including the Boogalorian, the Jolly Roger, all sorts of cool stuff. You definitely want to go check his stuff out. You want to spend money with him if you want some cool morale patches.
Hey, Dave, really quick, could you send an update to Jason as to what the status of my order is?
Dave does say that Poppins Patches is banned on Facebook. So he committed the grave sin of making a TikTok. I'm monetized on TikTok. Why is that a grave sin? I'm on TikTok, man. That's okay. But anyway, check it out and buy stuff from him. He's also, I think, still on Etsy and other things. So check him out. Also, I am an affiliate of RK Spookware. If you know who they are, you know what they do. If you don't, but you 3D print things that are super entertaining, you should check them out, because you probably need some metal bits for that so that things work correctly. And that is what they make. That is what they sell. And if you use the affiliate link attached, you get to support the channel. And that would be super cool of you if you go ahead and do that. I love their stuff. It is super high quality. It is really awesome. And it works, right? And all you want it to do is work. I am also... Let me get this patch off. We're gonna keep going here. Ah! I'm gonna throw things.
So professional.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Okay, well that's super centered. But anyway, Lions Not Sheep, also an affiliate of theirs. Check out our link tree. You get all of these links. You get all these discount codes, all that cool stuff. Lions Not Sheep, I'm also an affiliate of theirs. They have all sorts of cool stuff as well. And I know that you guys want to order some of their stuff. It is super cool, and they have the Free Man shirt that I wore a little bit ago, as well as the Radical Change one, and a number of others. I do not have, somehow, my hat for them, but also I am an affiliate of Reaper Brand Apparel. Reaper Brand Apparel has a fantastic message, awesome designs, high-quality stuff, and you should definitely get some stuff from them. If you use the affiliate link that is in our link tree, you will get 15% off. You get 10% off if you use code InkedAnarchist on their site. But either way, you support me if you get some of it, and it's super, super cool. You should definitely take their Broken Not Defeated challenge. It will change your life for the better. Check them out on Instagram. It's a great follow. You get super cool messages. Anyway, super cool dude who runs it. And I am so glad that I am affiliated with them. Last one, I think that I can remember. If I forgot any of you guys, I'm really, really sorry if you're watching, but the Till Valhalla project, super awesome. They are a mental health organization, just like the other one that we are really big fans of, which is Walk the Talk America. Check out Walk the Talk America again. That's in our link tree. But if you want to buy some mental health support stuff that then the money goes to help support veterans' mental health, check out the Till Valhalla Project. They have super cool stuff. They have cool shirts. They have cool hoodies. All sorts of awesome stuff, and you should check them out. Again, that's the Till Valhalla Project. Check them out. Google search them if you gotta, whatever you gotta do. They are super great. That is all the time that we currently have. We have hit 2 hours, and if you are still listening, I'm so glad. I love you too.
What's wrong with you?
Yes, I love you too. Thanks, Schnookums. But, yeah, so this was the train wreck of an episode, number 213, because Andrew has been left unsupervised yet again. And this is why you don't leave me unsupervised. This is what happens. I hope you're all happy.
I cannot be the responsible one in the room. I cannot be the responsible one in the room. That just does not work.
Exactly. I hope you guys are all happy. We love you all very much, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Hopefully Jason will be back to help steer this burning yacht.
He's the one who derailed this shit.
I know. But we will see you guys all next week, which is our last episode before St. Patrick's Day. So that's exciting.
Oh, Lord.
We will... Yeah. Oh, I got an outfit planned. You guys have a good week. We will see you again in a week. Peace.